All right, man, and we are live. Man, welcome back, you guys. Welcome back to another episode of the Winner's Diet Show. I am your host, Project Mac, aka Mac Solomon. Man, you guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Happy Friday to everybody out there. I know it's been a long week for a lot of you guys, and yes, I'm still rocking the mini fro. You know what I'm saying? I will get braided again next week. So I gotta bring this hair down, man. Shit. But yeah, been rocking the mini fro for like the past week. So it's been nice not having to kind of, you know, um, just kind of let the hair, the natural hair just bang out, but I think I will be getting braided again next week. Just because it's more convenient in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I got to pick my hair out, hair falling everywhere. So it does become a hassle at times. The braids is just much easier to maintain, man, and kind of just go on about my day. But either or, man. Wednesday was a great show, by the way. We had a great show on Wednesday. Um, So hopefully we can get the same live viewers in today. I think we had like 9 um, on Wednesday. So hey, today I'm hoping for 10. I'm hoping for 11 or higher. But nonetheless, man, it was a great show. Overall, flowing went right. The topics were on point. Definitely got a little bit of engagement, but um I'm just hoping to keep this thing going, man. We've been growing on TikTok tremendously, so I couldn't be happier with the way things are going. But we just got to keep it going as far as just letting people know what we got going on, the message, what I'm trying to get out there, and hey, man, sometimes and I've been I've been making some enemies in the process. Definitely having some people that probably don't like what I'm saying about fat people, but hey, it is what it is, man. Sometimes the key to getting attention is sometimes you have to be a little bit aggressive. You have to be very straight to the point, and you have to be honest, man. At times, you have to say what's on your mind, and you have to do it very. You have to be very direct with it, and unapologetic. So that isn't gonna be the most attractive thing, but it will get eyeballs, which is what we want. And in this day and age, in 2025, um, attention is currency. So if you can spark outrage, if you can spark controversy or get people talking, you've done your job as a content creator. And you know, everything isn't going to be peaches and cream. There's going to be folks that disagree with you, but that's part of content creation. That's part of life. My content very is directed towards self-improvement, which is the current state I'm in right now. And I can really just speak on everything I'm going through and giving out tips on how to navigate through that, especially people that don't know where to go or don't know how to start. That's kind of what my message is, and the focal point of the whole brand of the winner's diet, right? So a lot of the stuff that I say on my podcast or just on my social media, it's not always going to be politically correct. It's not always going to be the most safe things to say. Now, I'm not like putting anybody down. I'm just saying the truth. And sometimes that may seem like I'm putting people down, mainly fat people, right? Because although this is a self-improvement channel, this is also a fitness channel. And I help people improve through diet and exercise. So sometimes the truth is not always going to be very comfortable. When you have to break down things that you don't like about yourself or that you have to improve on, it's not always going to be very comfortable to display that, because deep down we all know our deficiencies and what we're not good at and what we need to improve on. So when somebody calls that out and they tell you about yourself, it's not always going to be good to hear. Even if you're someone that can take constructive criticism very well, it's not always going to be the best thing to hear, because a lot of times it falls into deep insecurity. There's things that I'm insecure about that if somebody points out about me, yeah, it's gonna hurt a little bit, it's gonna sting, but at the same time, I understand that it's only said so that I can improve. If it's not said, well, then I'm not really gonna pay attention to it. But if I'm constantly around or hearing somebody tell me about myself or tell me about things that I know deep down I need to improve, well, eventually I'm either going to do one or two things. I'm either going to shut it off completely and just stop listening to that person, block them, or I'm going to actually take that advice and improve. There's there's only two options, fight or flight. So for me, I've always been someone that's been coached up heavily. I come from an athletic background. I play sports. I've always had coaches that were on my ass about things. And, I've always took heed to that. I've always been the one to, you know, take coaching seriously. I want to improve. I want to be the best person I can be. Yeah, in the moment it sucks that you hear about what you can't do or what you're doing or what you're doing at the moment isn't good or where you need to improve in, but I know that it's only meant to make me better in the end, which is what you're there for. So, if you can't take if you're someone that can't take constructive criticism well, then you're not really gonna make it well in life. You're not gonna make it far in life. If you can't take constructive criticism, you probably won't make it far in life. So, because it comes down to you, it comes down to you not being coachable. If you're not coachable, then no one can teach you anything. And if you're not coachable, then 9 times out of 10, you probably never played a team sport. So it is what it is, man. But anyway, man, we got a great show lined up for y'all today. Make sure y'all hit that like button, please. Hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna let folks come in here. Uh, like I said, last show was great. We had a great time. A lot of great topics. But today, man, we doing just that same thing, trying to deliver you guys that same fire, man. So today we're talking about knowing your why, right? Your why must be bigger than your excuses. And we'll talk about that towards the end of the show for the main event. But before that, you guys know we have our first two segments, the Fit Report, reporting on fitness news, health news, just anything that has winner's diet material towards it that can be teachable. And then we have What the Fitness segment, where we react to, again, more fitness, health, or winner's diet related videos, trendy videos, viral videos that can be teachable as well. So without further ado, man, let's get into the first article. Shout out to everybody in here. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, please, and thank you. All right, let's get to the first article here. This one, where are we at with it? I want to make sure I'm not losing anything. All right, here we go. So this first article says study reveals gym equipment has 362 times more bacteria than toilet seats. Gym equipment is dirty, but people keep using it. A Fit Rated study tested 27 pieces of gym equipment and found over a million germs per square inch. Exercise bikes had 39 times more bacteria than a cafeteria tray. Treadmills had 74 times more than a bathroom faucet. And free weights were the worst, with 362 times more bacteria than a toilet seat. Still, gym users aren't bothered. The benefits of working out outweigh the germs. Wiping down equipment and washing hands helps manage the risk. For most, the gym remains worth it for health, and regular exposure may even strengthen the immune system. I'm not surprised here, man. The gym, look, the gym is a very dirty place. I'll just be honest with you. I work in gyms all day. I've been in the gym industry for the last 10 years, and it's a very disgusting place if you look at it from from the outside lens, you know, especially people that don't have proper gym etiquette. You know, don't come to the gym if you don't have proper gym etiquette. Please re-rack your weights. Re-rack your weights. Please re-rack your weights. Please wipe down your equipment. If you've been sweating like crazy, please wipe everything down. Um, just gym etiquette should be a norm, you know, because it comes down to you having home training. If you don't have home training, you're not gonna have gym etiquette. There's just certain things you don't do. You know what I mean? Like the amount of people that I come across in the gym, excuse me, the amount of people that I come across in the gym that are so inconsiderate to other people is crazy. That just lets me know how you were raised. That lets me know the type of person you are, you know, hogging up all the equipment, being on the machines, on your phone, like you see people like that. They're just they grab fucking 10 sets, they grab 10 pairs of dumbbells all to themselves, you know. They're sitting on the machines on their phone for half an hour when they know people want to use that machine. They don't wipe down their gym equipment. You know what I mean? So, I mean, the gym, it could be, if you don't have proper gym etiquette, it can be a very frustrating place. So the fact that it, is dirty like this, like, I mean, it's not uncommon, but at the same time, you just have to have proper gym etiquette, man. Have proper gym etiquette. Like I rarely even shake people's hands in the gym. I just do it the fist, the pound. You know what I mean? Unless it's a girl, that's different. But for normally, I just pound everybody up, bro. Because that gym is very disgusting. You're touching weights all day. You're touching barbells, machine handles. You're sweating. Um, Sometimes people's hygiene isn't up to par, so you got to deal with that. So yeah, the gym is a very disgusting place, man. It's a very disgusting place, but it's very necessary. You need the gym, um, and I'll take that. I'll take being in the gym that, hey, isn't the most clean. If that's the only way I can get my workout in. So, but there's just certain gyms, man. I won't even use their restroom. There's just certain gyms I won't even use their restroom because it's so bad. So bad. Like some of these lower end gyms, this is why I tell y'all, man, go work out in higher quality gyms. Cause like the cleanliness and right, how clean it is not even gonna be comparable to what you see at a regular everyday gym, you know? But there's just certain gyms where I go in there, I go in the bathroom. I can't even use the bathroom, bro, because how disgusting it is. Like 24-hour fitness, that place is disgusting. Like I have no idea why they are not, they run their gyms the way they run their gyms. To this day, I can't figure it out. Even LA Fitness is dirty too, but at least their bathrooms are somewhat they're way better than 24. They're way better than 24. But what do I say? Lower quality gyms are going to have lower quality experiences. Higher quality gyms are going to have higher quality experiences. And that comes with how the bathroom looks. The gym setup, how the gym, the members, how clean it is. All these things matter. So whenever I hear guys say, "Oh, I ain't gonna spend that much money on a gym membership," all right, cool. Stay where you are. No one's saying you gotta fucking spend your last $200 on a gym membership. We're not saying that. I was saying it for people that have value to give. You know, if you got a business or service or product, whatever. Yeah, you might want to be in those higher end gyms to pitch your service, to pitch your business. You might have found a new market to tap into. But so many people are just so closed minded, bro. It's crazy. But that's a whole different discussion. But man, yeah. If you're going to the gym, man, have proper gym etiquette because the gym is already a very vile place as far as just how the hygiene of it. So I'm not surprised. All right, man. Let's move on to the next topic here. What we got here? All right, here we go. Here. So this is interesting. Another stat for the first time ever, overweight children outnumber underweight children worldwide. For the first time in history, more children are obese than underweight. Damn. UNICEF reports 188 million kids now live with obesity, triple the number since 2000. This is not progress from undernutrition. It is a health disaster driven by corporate greed. Food companies target children with nonstop ads for cheap, ultra processed products full of sugar, salt, and unhealthy fats. These addictive, these addictive, non-nurturing foods replace traditional diets and fuel lifelong risks of diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and mental health struggles. This crisis is not natural. It is profit, but above children's health, urgent action is needed. Stop junk food marketing to kids, ban it from schools, and block industry influence on policy. Um, yeah, man. And people wonder why. And people wonder why RFK is doing what he's doing with the EBT and the food benefits, right? This is the reason why. I saw that they were trying to get him canceled and get him fired from his position when we have the numbers here to back it, man. You just saw the article. They are now more overweight kids in the US than kids that are underweight. There are more fat kids in the US than there are kids that are healthy. Think about that. We have an obesity problem in children now. We have more obese children than non-obese children. And people are just walking around here thinking that it's cool. Oh man, they'll just grow out of it. No, they won't. Because let me tell you something, man. I've coached kids. I've been around kids for a long time. I was a kid. If you don't have, if your kids don't have discipline at a very young age, around like 10 to 12, it kind of because it kind of starts there. Around 10 to 12, if they develop those habits throughout their adolescent years, good luck trying to get them to change. Good luck. They're not going to be in sports. They're not going to have great eating habits. They're not going to want to exercise because the foundation was laid at a young age and they just stuck with that throughout their whole childhood. The young kids that are fat become old fat people. They become fatter people as adults. You know, but again, they wonder why. Oh, the RFK is making this is taking away junk food on SNAP benefits. This is the reason why. Parents are not going to be around their kids 24/7. They don't know what the hell the kids are eating at school. You know what I mean? They don't know what the kids are eating after school. They just don't know. They don't know what the kids are getting into. They don't know what is being taught to them. Like, bro, this is a serious issue here, man. And nobody seems to really think that it's, you know, a problem. You have bro, we have food companies now targeting children with ads on junk food and things that are addictive, high in fats, high in sugar, high in sodium. These are being targeted now to kids. Parents are not monitoring what their kids are watching. Parents are too busy with their own lives trying to get things going for themselves. So now the quickest thing is to go run to McDonald's, go run to Wendy's, get a quick meal here. It's too late to cook. I just got off work. I don't have time to cook. Bro, this is what we're dealing with. And they're wondering why these kids are pre-diabetic before they're 16. It's insane. At what point are we going to realize, okay, maybe this is getting out of hand? I walk around the mall. Bro, I go to the mall. I go to the grocery store. I'm going to different restaurants. I see fat kids all over the place. I'm like, there's no way this kid is this big at this age, bro. Impossible. And the parents don't think it's an issue. They just go about their day. Oh, he'll grow out of it. Oh, he's just big boned. Like, what? Like, do you realize, like, that to me is a form of child abuse. Like, if you allow your child to be overweight at a young age, that to me is a form of child abuse. And you're not doing anything about it to fix that. You're not putting them in sports. You're not getting them access to coaching or trainers or putting them in different classes, because exercise is free. You don't even have to hire a trainer. You can go outside and work out. You're not doing anything. Excuse me. You're not doing anything to change their diet. That to me is child abuse. That to me is child abuse. Can't change my mind. You're willingly destroying your kid. This is a choice. This is a choice. And people wonder why, or they got mad at me for saying that being fat is a choice. Being fat is a choice. Being fat being fat is absolutely a choice. You choose to be fat. Your habits dictate you being fat. No, it's not genetics. It's not a condition that you develop. No, it's your choices. You eat too much food. That to me is a choice. You control every calorie that goes into your mouth. You control the habits of you waking up, or you control the action of going to work out. You control the action of going to work out multiple times throughout the week. You control the action of drinking water and eating whole foods. You know what I'm saying? And prioritizing sleep. You control those actions, not genetics. So when people sit here and blame genetics, they blame their family history. Nah, bro, you just lazy. That's all it comes down to. That's all it boils down to. You're just lazy. You like pointing the finger. And then when you have fat kids, again, you blame genetics. You blame family history. You blame the government. So this is the battle that we're dealing with, man. This is what we have to deal with. So I blame the parents, man. I blame the parents. I'm always going to place blame on the parents because they are the first line of defense. And too many times when I've worked with kids in schools, I've seen these parents drop the ball numerous times and it doesn't get better. All right, man. Let's move on to the next article here in the Fit Report. What we got here? All right. This this one says skipping meals won't help weight loss. It slows metabolism and boosts fat storage. Total daily calories matter the most. The truth is, this strategy can backfire. People think that by skipping food intake, they'll lose weight. But what you really need to be concerned about overall is total daily calorie intake. The problem is that when we go without food, fat storing enzymes increase and metabolism decreases as a means of preservation. So here's my take on this. This will definitely work only if you're working out. Let me say that again. Skipping meals to lose weight, being in a calorie deficit, because that to me is a calorie deficit. That only works if you're already working out multiple times a week, strength training, not doing Pilates or yoga or fucking walking. No, I'm talking about doing intense strength training exercises. What most people do when they're trying to lose weight is that they just cut back on meals or they just skip meals. They skip meals completely. They stop eating. They might eat one meal a day, but the only problem is with this is they're not exercising. So you're going to store fat anyway. So my thing is, you have to, knowing calories is very important. Knowing how many calories you need per day and then subtracting that by 2 to 300 calories is the calories that you're going to need to lose weight. So if my total calorie intake per day is 2,000 calories, I need about 1,700 to 1,800 calories to lose weight. But people just think, okay, I'm just going to stop eating. I'm just going to stop eating. I'm going to skip meals. I'm going to eat I'm going to eat one meal a day. And I think all my issues are going to go. No, that's not how it works, man. You're actually going to store more fat that way. You're actually being counterproductive doing it that way. You're going to store more belly fat and your body fat percentage is going to go up. So really the biggest missing piece in all of this, man, is you have to lift weights. If you're not lifting weights, then it doesn't really matter what you do on the nutrition side. You can be in a calorie deficit, but if you're not lifting weights, you're not burning body fat. And you'll just be a skinny fat person, still predisposed to health issues if you're not careful. All right, let's move on to the last article here. This is kind of unrelated to fitness, but it does align with our winner's diet mentality here. Clifton Powell says he was clowned for being famous and driving a Mazda. So he went out and got a $115,000 Yukon XL, but that wasn't enough. You can't win with black people. Oh man, listen, man. This actually plays into our winner's diet philosophy, what we always say. And it comes down to the people that you're around, right? That's one of the pillars of the winner's diet here, what we always preach. It comes down to who you're around. You should not be around people that are constantly trying to compete with you in a negative way. Now, you want to be around competition, right? You want to be around healthy competition. The people I'm around, I'm always competing with them. We're competing with each other, but it's always going to be healthy. It's never going to be on no jealousy. This to me is just jealousy. That's all this boils down to. It's just jealousy. You know what I mean? Because he's already famous and they see that he's not trying to keep up with the Joneses. So they clown him. Oh man, you famous and you in all these movies, but you can't even drive a nice car. So he goes and gets a nice car. And now they start hating on him. Oh, they probably like, oh, well, why you ain't in a Rolls Royce? Bro, you can't win with people, man. He said black people. Hey, niggas do it too. Everybody does it, bro. But it's mostly prevalent in the black community. I would say that. So he ain't wrong. I'm not trying to throw my people under the bus, but hey, he ain't wrong though, right? We can speak on this because we've seen it firsthand with so many different other people. You know what I mean? You try to live a laid back lifestyle. You don't want to be too flashy, even though you're successful. And they'll be like, "Oh, where your ice at? Oh, where that car at? Oh, where do you live at? Like, why ain't your house in the hills?" So then you go get these things, and now they think that you're flexing on them. Now they want to start hating. So you can't really win, man, in this situation. You can't win in this situation. That's why I say, man, Um, go be around people that are trying to elevate you. Cause I guarantee you, if he was around people that um had his best interests at heart, they would have been like, man, keep driving that Mazda, bro. Keep saving your money. Go invest that money somewhere else, that can make you more money. And then you can go buy the dumb liabilities. But this is how some people think, man. Some people are destined to be in the same position forever. And that's because of their mentality. That's one thing I realized along my journey. It's not really about like how you're gonna make it, how you're gonna achieve your goals, whether it be weight loss, whether it be starting a business, whether it be um making money, whatever it is, man. It all comes down to your mentality. What is your mentality like? Do you have discipline? Can you delay gratification? That is the biggest battle for a lot of people, man. And you see it all the time. If you watch a lot of what's that dude's name? What's his name? David Ramsey. Like I was just listening to his call-in show. It was a clip of somebody calling in, like it was a husband and wife. They make like 300K total for their household income, but they were in like 100 grand in debt or some shit, like 100 something grand in debt, you know. And he was asking them like, "Hey, where do you spend your money at?" They were like, "Oh, we got cars, we got vacations," and he was like, "Okay, there you go." Because if you're 100 grand in debt, there is no need to go on vacation. There is absolutely no need to go on vacation. There's no need to get a new car. There's no need to buy a house. I think they bought a house that they couldn't they can't really afford it, but they bought it anyway. I think their payment was like their mortgage is like 5 grand a month, close to it. And I'm just like, hey man, the some people just can't delay gratification. Hey, maybe not. Maybe we shouldn't buy a house right now. Maybe we should just live in a nice apartment that is half of that, and we can just work on eliminating all of our debt, and then we can go out and buy a house once we have enough saved up. But no, most people want to live the glamorous lifestyle that they cannot afford just to impress motherfuckers that don't give a fuck about them. That is the truth, you know. So in this Clifton Powell situation, he fell into the trap of trying to impress motherfuckers that don't give a fuck about him. And he quickly realized how much they don't give a fuck about him. So it's very important, man. You have to really vet the people that are around you, vet the individuals that are you feel like are your friends, because a lot of times they're not really going to be truly happy for you when you start living out your dreams or when you start to become successful and pass them up. It's a sad situation, but it happens all the time, man. All right. Let's move on, you guys. We got What the Fitness coming up. Make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Great show so far. All right. Let's move on. I kind of covered this last time, but let's go ahead and revisit another one of these type of videos again. This guy, Trizzle Man Fitness. I see a lot of his stuff online. He talks about if peace, purpose, and family are boring, then I'll take boring any day of the week. And I guess he's talking about how his lifestyle is boring, but there's a reason why I'm assuming he's very successful in what he does. All right, let's check it out.
I don't smoke, I don't drink, and I don't do drugs. Some people tell me, Trent, the way you live your life is so boring. They're like, Trent, why don't you just live a little bit? I try to live in a little, and it only satisfied me for a moment. I would rather follow Jesus, build my family, build my business, and build my body. And if that's what you call boring, I will take boring over living a little any day of the week. I don't smoke.
Yeah, man. Um, being boring is a new cool, bro. I'll say it right now. Being boring is the new cool. All them late nights, being outside, drinking, smoking, getting into dumb shit. That shit is so played out, bro. Is that because all that is really counterproductive to what you need to do to become who you want to be, right? Everybody that does these things on a day-to-day basis, if they're not already successful, right? I'm not talking about the ones that are already successful. You can do whatever you want to fucking do because you've earned that right. I'm talking about the ones that are not successful, that partake in these activities, right? Drinking, drugs, being outside, just, hanging out, living the quote unquote unboring lifestyle, right? The exciting lifestyle. 9 times out of 10, they're not successful and they're not going anywhere. They live for the moment, right? They live for the moment. They have no plan. They're just out here. And that's cool if you want to do that. It's fun. Yeah, you'll have great stories and great memories. But at the same time, where do you want to be in 5, 10 years? Like, are you just going to wake up one day and just relive all the old war stories that you had? Are you just going to wake up one day and just have memories? Or do you plan on living a life where you don't need a vacation from, or you don't need to escape from? Because that's all this is. That's all not being boring is, right? It's escapism. That's all it is. It's just you running from your problems. That's all it boils down to. You are running from your problems. You're running from your issues. Whatever you're trying to face, you don't want to face it. To me, that's coward like. That's you being a coward. If you're constantly trying to escape your problems, if you never want to face whatever it is that you're going through head on, and you're finding different outlets to kick the can down the road, to me, you're a coward. To me, you're a coward. Because strong people, strong men, they don't run from shit, bro. They face shit head on. If they have to deal with it for a couple years to fix it, then that's what it's going to be. But every time you try to avoid things and have different outlets to use, escape, go on vacation, go outside, go to the club, drink, party, have fun, whatever. When you are constantly doing that, you're just kicking the can down. You're just kicking the can down the road. You're not making any progress. You're not doing anything that's productive, that's going to change your life or change anybody around you life. You know, I'm cool with being boring right now because I know where I'm going. I know I have a plan, and I know when. I have a time frame as to when I want to get there. So right now, if I gotta be boring, then so fucking be it. Cool. I'll sacrifice a couple years, bro. I have no issue sacrificing a couple years of my life to be boring, to live the life that I really want. Right? I have no issue with that. Okay, cool. Right now, I see friends traveling. I see friends going on vacation. I see friends outside partying, having fun. You know, they're doing this, doing that. Cool. I'll sit that out right now. And I'm not even trying to hate on nobody that does this. But 9 times out of 10, I know you're not successful, but you're doing these things anyway. Cool. Have your fun. You know, the ones that really want it are going to stay in the background. They're not going to overspend on money. They're not going to buy shit that they don't need. They're going to constantly be building something that's going to change their life. That's the lane I want to be in. You know, I'll get there eventually. I'll have the fun. I'll do what I want to do. But if you're not where you want to be and you're partaking in these things, it's not going to be the most fun, man. Because guess what? You got to go back to that job you hate. You got to go back and deal with whatever it is that you're dealing with. You got to go back home and live where you don't want to live, really. So all these things are temporary fun. They're temporary memories that you're gonna have. You don't want to be that old person in 20 years talking to the young people talking about what you used to do. It's like that. It's like the OG, right? Talking about his old war stories. Oh man, when I was 20 years old, I used to have this. When I was 25, I used to have 5 girls. I have 5 girlfriends. You know, like don't be that OG, bro, that's constantly bragging about what he used to do. Okay, cool. You had 20. Okay, cool. You had 5 girlfriends when you was 25. You had 3 Mercedes when you was 23. What do you have now? In this current moment of life, what do you currently have? That's what I want to know. If you don't have these things right now, then shut the fuck up. We don't want to hear it. We don't want to hear that shit, man. What are you doing right now? There's a saying in Hollywood, you're only as good as your last movie. It applies to the same situation as you get older in everyday life. You know, you're only as good as what you last had. So if you had 5 girlfriends when you were 25, if you had 5 Benzes when you was 25, but right now you're 55 and you don't have shit and you're living in a fucking shack in the hood, we don't give a fuck about what you got to say about anything. We don't give a fuck. We don't care. What do you have now? But these are people that live their lives in the moment. They didn't plan, they didn't have a plan, they didn't prepare for their future. They weren't building anything. They were just living in the moment. Probably got lucky a couple times, but those things only last for so long, man. They don't last very long. It's temporary. I don't want to build something that was temporary. I've had short-term success in different areas, but guess what? I don't have it now. I don't have it now because it was short term. It only lasted for the moment, whether that be certain businesses, relationships, whatever. It was only for that moment. And now all I have from that is memories. But I can't pay the bills with memories. You can't pay your bills with memories. You can't change your life with memories. So it's okay to be the boring person. Cool. You don't want to go out because you want to stay in and work on your business, work on content creation, work on editing, work on the admin work, whatever it is that you're doing, man. Stick to that. Don't let people try to, you know, to tear you down or get you upset because you're not having fun or you want to be the boring person. Cool. I'll be that person. I'll be that person. I'll take the next 2, 3 years of my life to stay down and build whatever it is I need to build in order to have long-term success going forward. Because that to me is more important than any fucking party, any bad bitch, or any type of fucking alcohol or drug that's out there. All right, man. Y'all niggas got me riled up this morning. All right, let's move on to the last article here. On this one. This is funny here. Kind of ties into what I was saying. All right, this dude says being black and healthy is more rebellious than being rich. Why? Because in our community, wealth gets celebrated, but health gets ignored. And without health, wealth means nothing. I've said this before, man. I've said this time and time again in the black community. Yeah, I've said this time and time again, man. In the black community, we prioritize money over health. You know, we will kill ourselves into the ground trying to make some money, even at the expense of our health. You know, I think we had the numbers to show for many black corporate executives that are at high positions, and a lot of them are overweight, and that's not by accident. You know, um, that lifestyle will catch up to you because 9 times out of 10, when you start making more money, your taste buds change as well. Your taste changes, your lifestyle changes, so that means you're gonna start eating out more. You're gonna start prioritizing traveling more, and these are all great things, right? No one's saying don't do these things, but when someone has something for the first time that they never had, that they always wanted, 99.9% of the time you're going to abuse it. You know, you're going to overdo it. And I always say that when you travel, when you have a certain lifestyle, it's very counterproductive to your health. It's very counterproductive to losing weight or staying in shape, you know, because what happens when you travel? You're drinking more, you're eating more. You know, what happens when you make more money? You know, you get lazier because of said lifestyle, right? So because you're lazier, well, there's no incentive to work out or go to the gym. Or you might just be working more so you can keep affording these lifestyles. So the gym is not going to be the main priority. Look at all these CEOs at these top level Fortune 500 companies, man. They're all in shape. They're all, they're all fit. That's because they prioritize their health. They understand the importance of health. Even the women CEOs, they're taking testosterone, you know, they're taking peptides. They're taking small amounts of HGH. They're on heavy PEDs because they understand the importance of a healthy lifestyle. Even as you make more money, as they make more money, they reinvest it back into their health because they want to have the energy to make more money and close more deals and do more. You know, if you're in shape, if you're healthier, you can afford to do more because you have the energy to. You can only work for so long, man, before you burn out. And anybody can burn out, right? It doesn't matter how healthy you are. It doesn't matter how in shape you are. Anybody can burn out. But the only difference is if you're in shape, the person that's not in shape is going to burn out a lot faster. So that's why I say, as you make more money, you need to reinvest that money back into your health because now you have more access to certain things. You have access to personal trainers, quality personal trainers, not just some, BS trainer at 24-hour fitness. I'm not knocking them, but let's be honest here. You can afford the guys that charge 150 to $200 a session now and up, and they bring a premium service because a lot of times they only work with a small amount of people, and that's for a reason. You know, you can afford to attend more classes. You can afford to attend, different country clubs. Like you can just put yourself in positions where you're going to be exposed to more people that take their health serious. You can work out now at the higher end gyms. You can work out at the Lifetime Fitnesses and these higher independent gyms, you know, but you can't do that if you're working 12 hours a day, you still eat like shit, you don't work out. It's going to be hard to reinvest anything back into yourself because you're going to be on a hamster wheel, even though you're making a buck 20 a year, a buck 50 a year. Yeah, you're making great money, but guess what, man? You burnt out. And how long do you think that's going to last before something happens to you? God forbid, but you're putting your risk of something happening to you way higher as opposed if you just reinvest, the money that you're making, just a small percentage of it back into yourself. No, but you want to use that and you want to go out and buy liabilities, new car, travel, new clothes, food, whatever. That only is a temporary fix to whatever it is, whatever type of, pleasures you might be seeking. You know, longevity comes in the form of health, man. Never ever forget that. All right, man. We are at the 50-minute mark. What a great show today, man. Man, these are getting better and better. I couldn't be happier. Shout out to everybody in here. If you guys are rocking with the show, please hit that like button, man. But we are at the main event for today. Today we are talking about your why must be bigger than your excuses. Okay. Um, Guys, throughout your health journey, man, these are mainly for people that are getting back into working out. And this can be applied to anything, outside of fitness, but mainly we want to stick with just the fitness aspect. Um, your why when it comes to you achieving your goals, when it comes to you having expectations, when it comes to you being on a journey, right, to achieve those goals, your why is going to be the most important anchor in that situation. Because I see it all the time as a health professional. I don't even look at myself like a fitness trainer anymore. I'm more of a fitness professional. That's what that's what I brand myself as. I'm a fitness professional. And what I've seen in the last 10 years as a fitness professional is that people set goals, they have goals that they hope to achieve, they set out to achieve. But the biggest factor is they forget their why. They forget the reason why they started in the first place. So you might have a goal, hey, I want to lose 20 pounds in 4 to 6 months. Great. If you haven't worked out in a year, if you're just getting back into it, well, I need you to prepare yourself for what's about to happen. You are going to get tested within the first week, mainly because your body is not going to be used to the intensity that you're going to put it that you're going to put, excuse me, your body's not going to be ready for the intensity that you're going to put it through because you haven't worked out for 6 months or to a year, right? So your risk of quitting, your risk of burning out is going to drastically increase. And I've seen this time and time again. People set unrealistic expectations for what they want. They set unrealistic goals. I want to lose 20 pounds in a month. Unrealistic. No, set measurable goals, right? Once you do that, okay, now the work begins. Now taking action begins. But like I said, you will be tested within that first week. Your body's going to reject a lot of things that you're going to be putting yourself through, being in a calorie deficit, working out, sleeping right, drinking water. All of these things are going to be very uncomfortable for you. And within the first week or so, I would say the first 7 to 10 days, you're probably going to want to quit within that 7 to 10 days. Your body's going to be begging to quit. Your body's going to be begging to stop. Mainly for the simple reason that you've done so much damage within that year of putting, poor quality food, nutrition in your body, excessive alcohol drinking, maybe drugs, maybe bad sleep. So your body's going to be rejecting the good stuff because it's so used to the bad stuff. It's built up a tolerance to the bad stuff. So they think the bad stuff, your body thinks the bad stuff is normal. So when you start to exercise good habits into your life, your body's going to naturally reject that because they think that's the bad stuff. We're not used to that coming in here. We're used to processed foods. We're used to alcohol. We're used to drugs. We're used to you being up late and being on your phone. We're not used to you going to bed at 8 p.m. and drinking more water and eating a high protein diet and exercising. We're not used to that. So we're going to reject that and we're going to make you stop that, which is why most people quit. So in this process, I need you guys to go back to your why. Why did you even start to want to partake in a fitness journey in the first place? Why did you want to change your body in the first place? Why did you want to lose that weight? Why did you want to get healthier? Why, after 1 year of not working out, why do you want to come back in the gym now and make a whole lifestyle change? What's the reason? You have to have a reason for that. Because if you don't, you're going to be more willing to quit. There's not going to be a foundation to run back to, you know, because I hear it all the time in different assessments that I have with different clients. It might be family health history. It might be I want to be around for my kids. It might be, man, I have low energy. So you have to figure out what it is that you are, that what it is that made you want to start in the first place. That's going to be the anchor to save you, you know. And a lot of times you might think that you're quitting because you're lazy, you know, when the whole time is you quit because you never had a strong reason to stay anyway. You know, you can have a reason as to why you want to work out, but it has to be built from a place of pain, right? It has to be coming from a place of pain. You can't just say, "Yeah, I want to work out because I want to get healthier." Well, why do you want to get healthier? Like let's peel back the layers now, right? Let's get deeper here. So if you can't go back to that pain, well, it's going to be very difficult for you to even stick around. And when you don't see any results in 2 or 3 weeks, you're probably going to quit very quickly, because your foundation isn't strong enough. You know what I mean? So I think the biggest thing is before you decide to jump into your fitness journey, before you decide to get into a place where you want to change, you have to know the real reason why, right? You have to understand what makes it so important now than before. What were you doing a year ago that made it so different now? So, it comes down to, again, man, a mentality, and even when you're faced with adversity in your fitness journey, you have to remember, even when you're tired, all right, why are you doing this? Even when you're tempted to cheat on your diet, why am I doing this again? Even when progress feels very slow and mundane, the process is mundane, the process is, the same thing every single day. Remember why you're doing it for. If you can't remember why you're doing it, then you're going to quit. It's going to be very easy to quit, So if you can bypass this process, if you can bypass the temptation of cheating on your diet, if you can bypass the temptation of feeling tired and not wanting to go work out, if you can bypass if you can bypass seeing little to no results within the first couple weeks because you know the reason why you started, well, you just put yourself ahead of a majority of people that started for vain reasons, right? You are coming from a place of pain. Find out what that pain is. Channel that pain into what you're doing, and then use that every time you have the need to quit. So, and at that point, man, that will be your motivation. You won't need someone to push you. You won't need someone to keep you accountable. The motivation comes from the pain. The motivation comes from you remembering why you even did this in the first place. So anyway, man, that's been today's topic. Very short and sweet. Man, we had a great week this week, man. There will be some changes going forward, not soon, but we'll let you guys know what happens. But yeah, we'll keep you guys updated in the process. But in the meantime, man, make sure y'all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Follow us on all social platforms, Winners Diet Club, on TikTok, social media, Instagram, and then my main page is Project Mac. But yeah, we'll be back. We will be back on Wednesday night. So I'll see you guys then. You guys have a blessed weekend, and I'll see you guys soon. Peace.